Good afternoon, this is Mr. Coleman with your latest video in the series Maths Revision Outside the Classroom. This lesson, Lesson 2, is on Cumulative Frequency. This covers levels 6 to 8 of Key Stage 3 and Grade B GCSE and is suitable for years 8 through to 11. Right, we start with a cumulative frequency distribution where you've got a series of classes such as 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. This could be marks or heights or temperatures. And then you've got the frequency, the number of occurrences that fall in each of those classes. You might have 3, 5 and 12 and so on. We start by adding a third column entitled Cumulative Frequency. Cumulative comes from accumulate, meaning produce a running total of. So we produce a running total of the frequencies. So given that they were 3, 5 and 12 in our example, we start by the first cumulative frequency is 3, the next one is 3 plus 5, which is 8, and the next one is 3 plus 5 plus 12, which makes 20. And we go on accumulating all the cumulative frequencies until we get to the bottom of the table. Check to see that your total cumulative frequency is equal to your total of the frequency column. When that's done, it is time to draw the graph. You always put the variable, that's mark, height, temperature, whatever, along the x-axis and cumulative frequency up the y-axis. Then you start plotting the points. It is very important that you remember to plot the upper class boundary, because the cumulative frequency that corresponds to the class 1 to 10 tells you the total number scoring less than 10, and 11 to 20 the total number scoring less than 20, and so on. So you plot upper class boundary against cumulative frequency. If you do it correctly, you will find that you get a continuous increase in your graph. You then join the points by a smooth curve. The graph will usually look like an elongated S. The only exception to this is when asked to draw a cumulative frequency polygon when you join the points using a ruler. Otherwise, a smooth curve is best, and that curve will go on increasing till it reaches the total frequency. When you have drawn your cumulative frequency curve, you can use it to read off values, such as the interquartile range and the median. The median, first of all, is found by doing half the total frequency. So the total frequency divided by 2. Because we've got a lot of data, there's no need to worry about whether it's even or odd this time. We just take the halfway value. So say you had 200 bits of data, then half of 200 is 100, and you would read off the median as the value on the graph corresponding to 100. Do a dotted line from the cumulative frequency of 100 to your graph, and then drop that dotted line down to the x-axis and read off the median. Then the quartiles. The lower quartile is found by doing a quarter of the total frequency. So in our example of data set of 200, quarter of 200 is 50. So we find 50 on our cumulative frequency axis, read across to the graph with a dotted line, drop down to the x-axis, and that gives you your lower quartile. You can do the upper quartile similarly by taking 3/4 of the cumulative frequency. 3/4 of 200 is 150. Read off with a dotted line 150, across to your graph and down, and that gives you the upper quartile. To obtain the interquartile range, we just then work out the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Other things you can read from a cumulative frequency graph are the number scoring less than a particular value and the number scoring more than a particular value. If our cumulative frequency graph shows marks, and we wanted to know the number scoring less than 40 marks, we would find 40 on our x-axis, the marks axis. We would go up to the cumulative frequency graph with a dotted line and read across and whatever that cumulative frequency was would be the number scoring less than 40 marks. If we wanted the number scoring more than 65 marks, we would go along the x-axis to 65, we'd do a dotted line up to the graph and read across to the corresponding cumulative frequency. That value would be the number scoring less than 65. So to obtain the number scoring more than 65, you do the total frequency, subtract the number scoring less than 65. So the total frequency, subtract the number you read from the graph. That's how you work out the number scoring more than a certain value. Well, that's it for this lesson. I hope you found it useful. Now is the time to go and practice some questions. So until the next one, it's goodbye.